Yo, yo, yo! Can Minimal take this last game with his Eric team? WebBowser needs to get a win with this Jane team. If Minimal gets this, if Minimal wins here, he wins the tournament. He was able to take a win against Minimal's Jane with his Sayla team, with his Anora team last game. One more match, and it's going to be an uphill battle for WebBowser, even if he's able to take the game here. He's got a Pema, choose to lead off with Pema, kind of recognizing that as a main offensive threat, and wants to do as much damage with it as possible before Jane comes in. And we'll have Sayla here, goes for that Claymore for 90 damage. Takes the firewall damage. Sayla goes down to Fury Pendant. Both fighters going down in this first match, first turn. What a start. From here though, WebBowser doesn't have much against Minimal's Jane. So Grace is in. Grace immediately threatening with something like a riding crop or an button here. Not much Cherry can do about it. Switches in Kaiban, tanks that unbutton Minimal, getting that initiative boost onto his Grace. One more of those, and I believe he outspeeds WebBowser's Windle. And not much WebBowser can do about it. Definitely free to charge panel here and try and get ahead on the battery, but no, Minimal denies it with at least switch in, infuriating WebBowser. Probably both in-game and in real life. Is free to fireworks here. Cherry a decent switch in, takes 35 damage, having pretty good digital defense. Scouts with a decoy. Sees that Minimal goes for the Admire there. So kind of burning a use of Admire on Minimal's side. Minimal choose to go for another Admire. Both players playing pretty quickly. Likely tired at this long event. Cherry goes for that second decoy, scouting again, burning a use of Admire, activating back pocket locket. If he's able to burn off all of those Admires, that means Jane is a good switch in to Lise, but no, gets a little bit impatient there. Goes for the fashion advice, maybe predicting a switch, and losing Cherry to the Admire. I think in that position, WebBowser could have gone for another decoy. Not too much that Minimal could do against it. Though Minimal likely to realize that he needs to save that last Admire for Jane. Is free to do something like Flourish Fireworks here, or just regular Fireworks. No need to Flourish when he knows WebBowser has that Glum Locket. Prefers to get the charge. WebBowser going for the snub. Puts Sad onto the Lise and is now up to a full battery. So here's a good decision point for Minimal. Does he flourish here and deny the potential parry? Looks like WebBowser doesn't even give him that option. Switches into Jane while Minimal takes advantage of the switch and Burn Brights. Burn Bright. Raising the attack but lowering your defensive stats. So definitely a high risk, high reward move on Eric especially. Eric with the full battery. Boosted digital attack. Still doesn't quite get the KO, I believe, with fireworks. Yeah, only doing 65. The 65 is a good chunk. Bypass Clause does knock Minimal's Eric down to Glum Locket range. Back up to 11 HP. When Bowser heals. But if Minimal has that battery, which he does, a Flourish Fireworks will take out Jane here. And there's nothing else that he can switch in to this Fireworks. So Minimal having the speed advantage here, having the offensive advantage here, and the battery advantage. You can't parry a critical hit. Minimal chooses to save the battery and loses his Eric Captain here, but will it be enough for WebBowser to come back? I'm not sure. WebBowser's Jane slowly healing up from that lucky pendant. Grace or Elise free to come in here, both threatening with the emotional attack, though Grace probably the more offensive fighter here, able to kind of chip away with that biting. Puts WebBowser's Jane back down to 6 HP. Can flourish on button here, which means WebBowser has to switch out to Kaiban. Though with Eric gone, it's going to be a little bit more hard work for Minimal to get battery again. WebBowser now having the battery advantage. Could go for a parry here and get that decoy. WebBowser, realizing that's an option, denies it with the deep breath. WebBowser charge panels here. Looks like he did go for the parry that turn, so kind of a net 0 for WebBowser, but Minimal got that boost from the unbutton and is free to, or the boost from deep breath there, getting that boost. WebBowser gets the decoy, doesn't lose the battery because of shielded trait on Kaiban, and starts hitting off, firing off those admires. Grace comes back in, chips with the biting. Biting does go behind the decoy. Is free to go for, definitely wants to attack here into the decoy. WebBowser kind of safe to use, something like another admire, perhaps goes for a charge panel, but chooses for the admire, recognizing he needs to take this Grace out ASAP. It is fast, it is strong. Sacrifices Jane here. Now both players have a full battery. Grace from getting that successful attack off. WebBowser getting that extra charge from losing a fighter to an attack. Kaiban switches in, though Minimal free to flourish here. Deny that parry. And I don't think actually that an admire would even get the knockout onto Minimal's Grace here. Looks like it's all up to Wendell, and I'm not sure Wendell can do it after all those initiative boosts on Grace. Gonna be very challenging. And the last unbutton seals the deal. Another commanding victory by Minimal. Very well played. I believe that is the tyranny. So Minimal takes it. 3-0 victory against WebBowser's Jane team. WebBowser kind of recognizing that he needed the win with that Jane team, or else he wouldn't be able to win the tournament, and kind of decided to lead off, giving Minimal a lot of momentum just because of its poor matchups against some of his team, especially those Grace fighters on each of Minimal's teams. A lot of quick games too. I would have liked to see both players kind of take a little bit more time to choose their moves. And I know they faced off a lot already against each other this tournament, so maybe we're familiar with how each other play, but definitely would have liked to see them spend a little more time picking their moves, kind of plan out their turns more. I think it might have been definitely in WebBowser's favor to make some double switches as well. But very well played by Minimal and WebBowser both. Second in a tournament like this is also very good. WebBowser only dropping games to Minimal in the grand finals, or dropping sets to Minimal. So awesome performance. Really like the teams from both players. Looking forward to messing around with WebBowser's Grace team, especially. I think it was actually a really cool team. I like Minimal's team, the teams he brought in general. Very kind of tempo-oriented teams, very offensive teams. Definitely, you can tell he likes Fleeting Locket or Fleeting Pendant Grace, especially, and that ribbon twirl. So, awesome tournament. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.